you've got numerous different businesses, haven't you, really?
Yeah.
And you've obviously grown Coreus, 55 people?
Are we recording now, or is this just general chat?
Might be.
Okay.
You've grown Coreus for what, 55, 60 sort of people.
Yeah.
You've got numerous different businesses in 5 years. That's pretty flipping good going, isn't it? How have you got there? Like, how have you actually...
Yeah, we've had our challenges along the way. I've had a few breakdowns along the way, but yeah, I'm definitely saying before to Tom that it hasn't come without some personal tragedy along the way, which we can kind of go into. But I was at a large corporate business, so I was pretty disillusioned with the industry, how things were going. I think in the last kind of start of my career in 2008, along the way, I'd had various wobbles, midlife crises, where I felt I could do something different. Some of my ideas didn't stick. I remember being at my first company, leaving at lunchtime, ringing my sister up, saying, I've got this great idea. Just gone and got lunch in Tesco's, and all you can get is Tesco's own branded salads. Why don't we set up our own salad company? And she said, well, basically you've invented innocent smoothies again. Go back to work, Andrew. So several years passed on. I got quite senior within the business, felt I could do things a bit differently, and just went for it, to be honest. And I'm pretty flabbergasted at where we've got to. I don't think, I never thought we'd kind of get to this point, to be honest.
Did you always want to be like a business person? Because it sounds to me like you've always had ideas, and like, if I take myself, I've kind of always known since like day one ever, I've always wanted to be like a business person. I've always wanted to be in business. It's all I concentrate on.
What was your first idea?
Oh, bloody hell, I can't remember. Lemonade.
Lemonade.
No, I'm joking. Lemonade
stand.
stand. But you go through school and you do business. The only thing I really concentrated on, I do homework for that and nothing for the other stuff. And it's the only thing you enjoy. Was that you? Is that what you always wanted? Because
I think I've always been quite creative. So my mum's quite handy. Does a lot of sewing, does a lot of painting, a lot drawing, and I'm rubbish at all that. So I think early on that creativity was kind of instilled in me. I remember, do you remember the yellow pages you used to get? Not the yellow pages for like phone numbers, but it was for adverts.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember you go through that? And I remember one day I went and I bought it for some reason when I was like 11 or 12, and there was a job lot of BMX bikes for 10 BMX bikes for like 20 quid. And I convinced my parents to go and buy them. They went and bought them, and I decided I was going to do them up and sell them. I think I lost lots of money doing it, but I had that kind of, I really hate the term, but entrepreneurial spirit very early on. So I've had a lot of ideas along the way, and some of them stick, some of them don't.
Sound quite innovative, that you want to just solve a problem and find another solution for what's going on.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't describe myself as innovative. I just like to disrupt a little bit. So
a disruptor.
Some people say I need to say I'm positive disrupt, because disruption sounds quite negative, but
Where did the whole idea for sort of stopping what you're doing, being an employee, going into business come from? Was there a catalyst, or was it like an accumulation? Or
I think accumulation of things. Larger corporate businesses aren't for everybody. I loved the place when I first started there. Probably would have got a tattoo. I've got eczema, so it wouldn't suit my skin.
That was the only reason why.
That's what stopped you.
I probably would have got a tattoo if someone had said to me, if I was drunk enough at the time. But I got slowly disillusioned with the place. The construction industry is quite a stale place. I think it's relatively easy to be a bit different and be out there. What I've tried to do from the very start is focus on the brand. Making Coreus a brand rather than Andrew Clancy, Chartered Surveyor.
It's got a ring to it.
Yes, yeah.
Should have called it that.
Imagine how boring that was.
Should have called it that.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So I think from the very outset, I wanted to create something a bit different. I knew there was something there that could kind of catch on in the market, but I didn't quite think it would take on to this extent.
What does Coreus mean then?
What does Coreus mean?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
So I was out for a run one day, and this is going to sound like an epiphany, but I was out for a run one day, and I knew I was going to be starting this business up. And the first business plan I had was called Anon Group, because I couldn't think of a name. So I was like, what's a random generic word? I was never going to call it that. So
FYI.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it would have been Andrew Clancy, Chartered Surveyor. Yeah. I was out for a run, and this bird came in front of me. And I was like, what the hell's that bird? It's like a black kind of thing. So
Blackbird?
Yeah, no, it was a raven. Yeah. So I got home and I was like, I wonder what the Latin word for raven is, and it's corvus. So
Nice.
for like a couple of months, it was called corvus. And then I was sitting down with some mentors and coaches I had kind of at the time, people who kind of supported me on the journey, prior to kind of starting Coreus, but at the start as well. And they were like, you need to think of a better word than this. This is really shit. So we brainstormed 3 ideas, and the whole premise of the business is to be a place that people want to work for and work with. So I came up with the idea of Core Us, putting everybody at the centre, the communities we work within, but also the clients we work for, and the people who work with us. So yeah, a bit of a play on words.
Yeah, it's like
But I get people kind of say to me, "Oh, how's Coreus getting on?" And really
gets you. Yeah.
That's not bad though, because it's a bit of a conversation.
It is, yeah.
Isn't it? That's the thing you can talk about the brand and the business.
Yeah. Luckily, our SEO's got more advanced, because if you googled Coreus when I first started, it's an insect. So,
right. Are there any other Coreus businesses? Are there many names?
There have been a few set up, yeah. So thankfully
that you've batted away.
We've trademarked and those sort of things in the time, which we've had to learn along the way. But yeah.
So how did everything start then? Sorry to jump in there, Maddi, but how did everything start? You obviously thought, right, I'm going to start a business. It's going to be called Coreus. It's me
Coreus.
At the moment. Coreus.
You just done it.
Did I just do it? Okay, no. Okay, Coreus. You started your business. That was all you. Got the name and everything. Yeah. Where did it go from there? Like, did you have to go out and find your first client, or was it more about?
Yeah, people? I think I was very lucky that I had a few clients who followed me at the time. I was doing work for them at the time. They followed me on that journey. I can probably say that now because I'm not under any covenants anymore.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's
been a while. I doubt anyone's watching from those. Who cares? So I was very lucky that they followed me on that journey. And I just got myself out there really, and kind of promoted myself as bigger than kind of just one man band.
How did you do that?
So my girlfriend at the time had an email address, and I'd send emails on her behalf, kind of chasing the invoices down. Nathan, who a great kind of career story with him, as a little anecdote, he was a university student doing business management. I played cricket with him and needed someone to just look like they were doing stuff for Coreus, because we were kind of taking on 5 or 6 jobs. So we had an office in Chard, which we called the Cave. So I got him on his summer break to like paint the walls, and I needed someone to go and count some trees for me on a site. So he went and did that. Sent him to a meeting where he had to read the risk register out, which is still quite a funny story. But he's kind of like in that time grown from that, which is now he's going to be our HR director. So he's doing a HR course, and he's kind of done lots of jobs in between. So it's quite a kind of...
That's a great little success story.
I don't know where I was going with that. What was the question to start with?
I want to hear about this register, I think now, actually.
The risk register, yeah.
Well,
that's a really boring QS task. I was determined not to come on here and like talk about
particulars.
Particulars no one understands or like cares about.
Is it a funny story though? Do we need to hear it?
Yeah, so
Nathan?
So he had to go to I sent him to a meeting, and the client thought he was obviously experienced in his role, and asked him to lead a risk meeting, which is quite intense and detailed if you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he didn't.
No. So,
oh, well done, Nathan.
Yeah.
So was there a business plan then when it all started?
Yeah, there was actually. So we had our 5th birthday party on Thursday, and I actually did a presentation. It wasn't on brand. I thought I'm just going to kind of get loads of stuff in there that we had previously, and I did an appraisal of me, which was
That's nice.
Yeah, which no one does that other than my wife. So we did an appraisal of me, and the first business plan was. Pretty sparse, to be honest.
Was it?
Yeah.
What was the plan? Did you have any like milestones that you wanted to hit?
So I had like a 3-year kind of plan, and it was the first year was to like turn over enough money to pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
Second year was to kind of employ somebody. Third year was to do like 250 grand of turnover, and within year 1 we kind of smashed all those things. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how did you smash all those things then? What was it, do you think? Why did you exceed your expectations?
I think if I could have bottled it up, I'd have a winning potion. But stopping to reflect and look back on things, we obviously created something that was totally different and new in the marketplace, and had a voice that wasn't, wasn't the traditional corporate voice. It was a little bit disruptive, a little bit innovative, as you said before. So, that was a big plus, and we managed to make some noise in the marketplace that turned people's attentions.
Yeah.
And along the way, we've employed some really, really good, well, not really good, some exceptional members of staff on the journey who kind of share those similar values as I do. So I talk about people being on a bus, and we've got, majority of people who work for Coreus are on the bus because they're invested for the long term. So getting those people very early doors invested was important.
How do you find those people? Because that's really difficult, isn't it? I think a lot of people say, go out and find day players, just hire the best, but it's really hard to attract the best, isn't it, when you're a smaller business?
Yeah,
and,
I think
got that.
I think I was lucky that within my network, I was fortunate enough. I knew people who would follow me, whether that was in my previous company or whether that was people I knew external from that. So I was very fortunate. I had people who followed along the way. I think a really key point is to build up a good relationship with a recruitment consultant. So we use 2 or 3 recruitment consultants. One in particular, I'll probably won't shout them out because they're competitors, but
shout them out. Go on, go for it. Go for it.
So Tom at Flagship, who I've worked with for like 15 years now, he understood exactly what the business was about, and he was able to kind of spot the right characters. So when someone came to him looking for a change, he knew the exact sort of people we were looking for, and it was an easy sell for him. For a young, small kind of startup, dynamic company, it's quite an easy sell. Yeah. So I think building up that relationship is quite key.
Is that taken away a bit of, I suppose it gives, you obviously pay for a recruiter, don't you? But that's taken away sort of that area of having to do the recruitment yourself, so you can concentrate on other things.
Yeah,
that's
I think
a big part of it.
I would say up until kind of, we were 30 people strong, I would say that every single person within the business I interviewed and brought on board. Now it's other people's responsibility, which is difficult because
I bet that is
it's your
difficult.
baby, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's starting to become other people's babies, and I need to let go of the baby because the baby's now going to school. So so the baby's got to fly a little bit at some point. But it's difficult because I think one of my key, I'm not very good at picking myself up, but one of my key kind of skills is people, and I think I get a good gut feel of people.
Do you say you've had a few rocky roads along the way, and it's not easy, is it?
I confused profit and loss and cash flow, which is, when you think about a quantity surveyor who's meant to be really good with numbers, is mental to think that I confuse the two. So laugh about it now, but I had a spreadsheet where I would kind of chart all my expenditure, and then when I invoice people, but I was recognising income before it was paid and realising expenditure when it was paid. So I was confusing the two. I was like, look, I made 34 grand profit this month, and I didn't ever make that much profit, but I made 34 grand in a month, and I've only got 2 grand in the bank account, and used to have sleepless nights worrying about it. And
how long did that go on for?
2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah, till we got our finance director in. And he went, "What on earth are you doing?"
So how did he change things then? How did he change
he's changed my life, to be honest with you, because he's taken that stress off of me. Whereas before, it was a never-ending cycle, as you guys know, of VAT bills and tax returns and payroll. So we've got lots of funny stories along the way where we've where we forgot to pay the staff, and people are waking up in the morning going, the money's
not funny for them.
Yeah, was at the time. Not funny for them, but it's funny now. It was like panic at 6 a.m. going, shit, we haven't incepted the direct debit properly, and have to go and get it sorted. So I think those things along the way have been a huge challenge.
Well, when you start up a business, you don't think about those sort of things down the line, do you? How did you kind of learn about that?
Exactly. I think I put a LinkedIn post out the other day that, I'm an amateur accountant. You just have to learn kind of bits along the way. You don't have the money to kind of invest in other people and bring them along the way. So you just have to do it. And, in the very nature of what you do when you set up a business, you're a risk taker. So, your attitude to risk is a bit more blasé than other people. Probably the reason why we've grown, how we have, is because I didn't really care about the money. And I know that's ridiculous to say, but I don't care about money. I pay myself now less than what I did when I was at the previous company, because for me, it's about growing something, and I love winning. So continuing to win and achieve is kind of more important to me than money. So I think that's why we've been successful as well.
Would you put down that that's the main reason why?
I wouldn't say that was the main reason. I want to, there's numerous things. People, getting good people on board is probably fundamental and the first thing that you have to do, to get success. But I think when you start a business, you can either have it as a lifestyle business, and if you want to take every penny out of the business to pay yourself, you're never going to grow it. So
was there ever a point where it was more of a lifestyle business, like you'd say, or was there a shift where it went from that to,
the aim was always to grow a company and grow a brand.
Straight from the start.
Yeah.
You mentioned about your mentors at the beginning.
Yeah.
What impact did they have?
Huge impact. I think I wouldn't be sat here in this seat now without. I didn't think they were mentors at the time, but now looking back, they had a huge impact on my life and my career. So, the very start of my career when I started a company called Bailey Partnership, had 2 or 3 guys there who just basically taught me the ropes, and I had a very traditional upbringing. That sounds ridiculous. Very traditional training.
I suppose it is an upbringing, though, isn't it?
I feel like upbringing is like an Amish kind of lifestyle. You had a very traditional training, and that gave me the kind of foundation, the skills, and the confidence to go and talk to clients and advise in a way that was compelling. And then I moved on to businesses, and then I became more of a senior manager, managing teams, managing offices, and then the mentoring I got there from individuals was at the time inspirational. Unfortunately, I've drifted apart from some of these people, which I reconnected recently a couple of years ago with them. But it's you need those people along the way that will champion you.
What sort of training or what sort of mentoring was that? Sort of more the nuts and bolts, like the QS stuff that you're doing, or was it a lot more around like people management and that sort of thing? Did you learn a lot from them, like subliminally?
Yeah, I think it was subliminally. I think at the very start, it's when I came out of university, I didn't know anything, and I actually don't laugh at the story, but I actually went to university thinking I'd be doing like some sort of field surveying. Didn't really know what quantity surveying was. I don't know why I chose it. Yeah. My sister said, why don't you like doing geography? Why don't you go and do some surveying? Thinking it was going to be
so
like out on beaches.
I
did. Yeah, you picked the wrong one. And sat there going, Jesus Christ, I don't really want to know about how like a building defect or So anyway, turned up on my first. Wasn't really that engaged during university. Figured I probably could get a job. And on the day one, I turned up, I didn't know anything. So those guys who gave me the training and the time. Really important, I think. But then as you kind of move on, you pick up things from other people. I'm still learning now, and long may that continue. Really.
What have been like your biggest lessons that you've learned like along the way in the last 5 years? Have there been like any big things which have happened where it's been like, oh shit, or slowly? I
think I try not to take myself too seriously, so I like to have fun along the way. I think if you lose sight of that's my probably number one core value is having fun. So if I lose sight of that, then you're not being true to yourself. There's huge lessons along the way, and I think you were at the room when I was talking to Tom a minute ago. The personal tragedy that came along the way. People, an architect who I worked with committing suicide. Meg, who was our assistant marketing manager, she tragically died 18 months ago. So there's things along the way, and you build up that resilience, and it's acceptable not to be okay in those situations. And, mental health, gets talked about a lot. And I think by being a leader and being authentic about how you're feeling, I think that's really important to the team as well. So come back to a point in terms of a lesson, I think being true to yourself by, your values, but also being true to yourself and showing people around you how you feel about things.
I think, that's certainly rings true for like me, because we do these podcasts, we speak to people, and we always say, we want the real you. We want the real sort of conversations, the real, Andrew behind the mic sort of thing, rather than the answers that we sort of, you feel like we might want to hear, or that people might want to hear. But it's the real person behind the brand, isn't it? That's what we think people engage with the most. People can build a lot of confidence and trust around. And the more people know about you, in your office, outside your office, your clients, that sort of thing, it's almost like the more trust and confidence they've got in you as a person, rather than to turn around and shaft them with something. And it's all about relationships nowadays.
Absolutely, yeah.
And your team, like building that team around you is only going to get stronger when you're honest and open and authentic. So how did you get the team around you when all of the personal tragedies were going on? How did that affect you all?
I think we've always been a very close team, and you mentioned yourself, being yourself, be yourself, and I just be myself, and I've tried to bring into work the things that I like doing outside of work, and I play team sport to a very low level, but I love the kind of camaraderie and the team kind of ethic, and I've brought people into the team who follow that kind of similar ethos. So we've got I've got great friends out there now who I've built and made through starting Coreus, and people said to me along the way, when you're 20 people, Andy, you can't act in the way you did before, because now you've got this big business now where people are looking up to you, and now we're 60 people, but I haven't acted any differently, and I don't think I ever will, because what you see is what you get effectively, and it will piss people off, and I do piss people off, and I am probably Marmite in it, out there, because I've done something different, and I've taken I've built something, and you shout about it, and people don't like that, and I'm okay with that, I think.
You can't impress everyone, can you?
No, exactly.
That's what makes Coreus.
Yeah,
at the end
true.
of the day, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So let's move on quickly to the sort of structure of your whole group.
Yeah.
Because there's Coreus, and then there's your other businesses. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how they sort of all intertwine?
Yeah, so, they're separate businesses. So we've got Coreus Group, which is construction consultancy. We've got C Squared, which is a groundworks and construction business, and there's a plant business associated with that. And then we've got a couple of other businesses that I'm involved in, which is a build-to-rent development company and a new house building company as well. So
you're a busy bee then.
Busy bee, all to different levels of success.
Do they complement each other really well? Do they sort of all intertwine?
Yeah, we could try to keep them as separate as we can, but with having a kind of groundworks business, I'm able to bring in, we've got a director of finance that we had when we were 20 people strong as Coreus. We never would have had that unless we had C Squared. I've got director of marketing, got 2 assistant marketing managers, never would have had that unless we had the other businesses. Yeah. So they complement each other in the sense that you can share those resources. I call them the front of house resources rather than back houses. Front of house resources, the first things that the company need, you can share them across those businesses.
Yeah.
So they do complement each other in a way.
That's really useful. And you were saying before we sort of pressed record and sat down, you wear many hats, don't you?
Mm.
How do you manage that? How do you manage your time? Because there's an awful lot going on just in one business with 60 people. But then you've obviously got all these other arms as well. How do you manage that?
At times not well.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. At times not well. I do have my moments. I do have my moments. But
do you do like a business a day, or do you do do you manage
your
time
I'm
really,
completely chaotic.
Is it just all over the shop?
Yeah, wherever life takes me. And I've got kind of bipolar, so not in the kind of classical sense. I've got bipolar in terms of I'll focus on cleaning the office one day rather than I've got massive tenders to submit or everyone's appraisals to submit. I'll just get the Hoover out and Hoover. So so I can't remember what the question was. Sorry. I think
your organisation, how do you manage it all? Do you feel like it just comes naturally? To you with that sort of stuff?
I've got a really good PA. So Sophie manages my time really well, but she helps out on kind of special projects. So I think having a good team around you is really important, and structuring it in a way where you empower people to make decisions. If every decision was made by me, then things would fall down. So I think, having those people in those businesses that are of the caliber who can make their own decision is important.
How have you found that? Because, we're going through a slightly similar thing at the moment as well, where, trying to get other people to make lots of decisions, give them a lot more responsibility. But it's hard. I'm finding it definitely hard because I feel like a bit of a control freak, to know exactly what's going on, being involved in all that. I don't know if you're the same. How did you make that transition?
I've had to learn to let go over the years, and I've got a good relationship with them in the sense that they'll tell me when I'm interfering as well. So I have a habit of doing that. And there's areas I like interfering in. I love marketing. I love the kind of brand side of things. I'd less like being a QS anymore. So I don't really interfere in the QS side of things and let them get on with it.
Yeah.
So service delivery, the guys kind of just get on, and I've got good people there who step that to the plate. So
yeah.
You said that sometimes you don't manage things very well. How do you kind of step back and realise when you're not managing things very well?
Told.
How do you
get told?
Yeah.
Told off. Yeah. I'm quite critical of myself, so whereas it's probably not a problem for other people, I build it up to be a problem, and I self-analyse a lot. So, whether it's on a drive somewhere or whether I'm out on a run, I self-analyse what I'm doing, and I always want to do better. no, both as a person, but as a business. So our vision is to be exceptional in everything we do. And I quite like that because you never get there. Like when you do something, it's never going to be good enough, is it? No. So you could always do something a bit better. So I quite like that as a vision.
Yeah. It's great to be self-critical, but like to have others around you be as critical to you as you can be to them. I mean, you must do you take that for granted? Because that's a really tough place to get to, I reckon. And how have you got there? And is the answer because you've always been true to yourself?
Yeah, I think you go, I can't remember the kind of the classical management thing, storming, norming, performing, and whatever the last one is. But, the team the senior management team and also the kind of, the company-wide team have a very flat structure. Though if you look at an organogram, we have different levels of kind of grades. Everybody is empowered to make decisions in the business. So, I think it's I think again it's about the people, and I keep coming back to that.
Yeah, that is really interesting, isn't it? I feel like I
didn't answer that question very well, did I?
No, you did. I feel like I answered it or gave my opinion, and then you sort of backed it up. So I think we got.
So we
there.
double teamed on it.
Yeah. Well, I think we got there. One other thing I'm really interested in as well is I've sort of followed your journey for quite a bit of time being in the space, and I've seen everything going on social media and you hear lots of stuff from just connections and everything. And I feel like one thing that you guys have done really well is you were able to attract some really good people at pretty senior level, quite early doors.
Yeah.
That's got to be a factor of your success, isn't it? To be able to give you more time to do other bits and bobs and focus on other things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always used to say employ people who are better than you, and you'll succeed. And we've definitely done that and getting some pretty senior director level resources in. I was very lucky that 2 or 3 of them I knew from previous. James, who is our, I'll give him a new job title, Group Operations Director, GOD, God.
That's good.
Which one came first? The God bit, and then you found it.
Yeah. So I went to university with him. So and then he went to Mace. So there's kind of a lot of kind of synergy there around kind of the team that are coming on the way. So getting those senior level resources is really important. And come back to that money thing. The years we got those people in, our profitability was pretty low. But I knew that you get those people in, you're going to build something for the future that will just snowball. And thankfully, I think we're at that point now where it's just snowballing and multiplying.
Yeah.
I call it the Coreus Creep, which...
The Coreus Creep, love it. You
Not him.
Or you.
Yeah.
You keep saying that you're lucky on all of these things, that people joining you and everything. But I think it actually seems like you're a bit of a magnet to good people because you give off that energy of, like you say, fun is one of your core values. But what do you do to actually maintain those good people? And you said that Coreus is a bus, so people can't get off. They can get on. But how do you do that? What do you do?
The fire exits are locked.
Yeah, it's a one-way ticket.
One-way ticket. Yeah. Some people, whether they like it or not, are on the journey for a while now. I think you got to know what motivates individual people. Some people are motivated financially. Some people motivated by job satisfaction. Some people motivated by or on benefits package, and some people just want to be at a place where they feel they belong. And I think it's just tapping into that, and it's not going to be for everybody. What we do, we've had people join the business and leave. We're not, and they were kind of fundamental to that journey at the time. So I think that kind of people management piece is really important to understand what motivates individuals. So we try to say that we want to be, the mission is the place to want people to work for and with. So we want clients to be out there going, Jesus Christ, they employ the best talent. We have to be using them on our projects because we'll get a better service. And we want prospective employees to say, look at that company, what they're doing is incredible. Look after the people really well, got a good kind of work-life balance. The projects they do are really interesting. I'll feel really fulfilled there. So it's about finding the balance around, what works for each individual.
Is that the mission statement?
That's the mission statement, yeah.
Is it?
Place that people want to work for and with.
And again, it's something which it's always moving, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to always get there. You never know when you're there, sort of thing. So it's great to have
I was saying before, you just got to keep pivoting around what the people want. And I just get nauseous when I look at some of the stuff that particularly larger companies put out on their socials, and they're just so out of touch with what I think people want on the ground.
Yeah.
And if you look at our business, it's very similar to yours, I think, in terms of I'm going to get it wrong, but Gen X, Gen Z.
Gen Z.
We're Gen Z, are we? Are we Gen Z? I think I'm a millennial.
I think I'm Gen Z.
Yeah.
I think.
I thought I was millennial.
I think you're maybe
I'm
millennial.
29.
I don't know how old you are, Andy. But
Yeah, I'm older than I look. I'm 37, so I think I'm a millennial.
Millennial.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
millennials, Gen Z, Gen X. I think we, I'm saying we, like I'm a part of.
You are.
I'm part of the movement. I feel that life has moved on quite considerably in the last 10 years, and people look how we're dressed, for example. How we been doing this 10 years ago?
We'd all be sat in suits.
Yeah, exactly. We're wearing a suit, and
when was the last time you wore a suit? I can't remember me.
I went to a funeral a couple of weeks ago. Anyway.
At your wedding.
Bring the tone.
Yeah, bring the tone down. I think attitudes have changed in the last 10 years, and what people want out of work and life is just so much different. And I feel, and I might be completely wrong, if you ask the guys out there, it feels like their personal lives and work lives are a little bit intertwined, which I think is really important, because it's more than just about
just a job, make
just
money.
a job and make money. Yeah.
I think that is where you get the perfect work-life balance, when it's not like on the spectrum that it's all work and balance. It does intertwine, and it levels out because they're both working so well together. Earlier you actually had some dry gin for us, and you said that is.
Should we open it now?
Well, we could.
Go on, get it.
You
10,
said
15, let's go.
Yeah, you give that to all of your new starters, don't you? So talk to us about that. I think that's really great that you do that.
Yeah. So again, I wanted the kind of the first impressions for me, everything. So when people walk through the door of a Coreus office, it feels a bit luxury. It feels, and guys laugh when I say this, it feels like a hotel. You walk into somewhere where you're gonna get looked after and treated well. Not Premier Inn level. We're talking, I'm just looking at the Marriott hotel, so we'll go with Marriott. But it feels a bit premium. And so on people's first day, we give them a welcome box, and it includes things like a water bottle, general goodies, but also some gin, because I love a gin and tonic. So we got this our own kind of batch made up, and it's probably not been tested to sell on the high street, but
it's good
enough for Coreus.
It does the job. It's interesting because we did a podcast with Tom Seward. He's got similar sort of stuff, small little cafe. He's like 4th generation hotelier, but he was talking an awful lot about like how he's trying to engage with his customers, clients, by just all sorts
by the 5 senses. By the senses.
Through senses, and like you get to the trying to maximize their experience, isn't he, rather than it just being a coffee shop. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just a coffee shop, because he's trying to build a community. He's built a place, a really great place for people to come to, which I feel like is really similar to what you're doing. He maximizes the experience with the senses, the smells, candles, music, taste, all this sort of stuff. And I feel like that little gin, it's a small little thing, but I feel like you're putting a big emphasis on that and making the experience for your employees as good as possible.
I like that 5 senses thing. So
it's nice.
I feel like I need to meet Tom, because I feel like we've nailed our employee journey. That from the moment they walk through the door, I feel from whether it's career progression, training, social side of things, benefits, I feel we look after them really well. And I know they would say that because, as I mentioned to you before, we've just been awarded the Sunday Times Best Place to Work,
which is
2024.
Big. Congratulations!
Shout about that.
So I know that that employee journey we've nailed, but I don't feel like we've nailed the client journey, because it's very difficult in what we do. That around bribery and those sort of things. We don't do bribery, but
we do not do bribery.
Anti-bribery.
How I've done it is bribery.
Anti-bribery laws. We work, 8% of our work is in the public sector, so they're bound by procurement laws, and it's very difficult to do that journey with them because it's transactional. We do a project and move on to the next one, which is, for me, it's just a broken system in construction. Why does that happen? We should be putting teams together who are used to working together and can, have a journey through numerous projects.
And get the best out of each other.
Get the best out of each other, yeah.
So is that what you guys do differently then? You're trying to make things less transactional and more like relationship?
Yeah, I would like to think so, but it's very difficult. I think our private sector clients, we do have a lot of loyalty in the market. We get repeat business, which is, number one, the easiest way to get new sales and new business is through repeat business. I don't think enough businesses put as much focus on. They think about themselves, how they're going to market themselves and brand themselves, when actually they got 2 markets, their employees and their clients. I think we've nailed one of them. Not quite sure we've nailed.
What are you going to do for the other then? What's in? Are there any plans? Or?
So Helen, who's our director of enabling services, she was head of marketing at Flybe, and she's one of our superstars. Changed the business, the brand, all that sort of stuff. But she's got this idea of a Tiffany's moment. So apparently Tiffany's moment means a lot to a female, whereas I'm trying to think of the male equivalent.
I don't actually know what Tiffany's moment is, so maybe I'm not.
Tiffany's the jewellery. They do the bag, and you get the bag, and it.
It's big.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I've never had a Tiffany's moment,
okay.
so maybe you need to have a Tiffany's moment.
Right. So maybe we don't do a Tiffany's moment. The way I could describe it is like Apple. If you get, I don't know if it's an iPad.
It's not. It's a Surface.
Okay, so
we're not doing very well with your examples here, are we?
Where should we go back to start? I got good. It is good.
Let's call it an iPad.
Yeah. So you get an iPad, and it comes in really nice packaging, and it looks really good. It makes you feel special, and you keep that box and you put it in your cupboard. You're like, why have I kept that?
You do, don't you?
You do, don't you? Yeah. So I've got in my cupboard at home. I've probably got 2 iPhone boxes, AirPods.
Never need it.
I'm sold on Apple. Apple have got me, and I'm loyal. I'm there for life.
You're in the ecosystem.
How do we get a Coreus moment where people get that cost plan, put it on the shelf,
and leave it there?
Which they probably do anyway. But how do we make that Coreus moment? And it's really difficult. We've got lots of ideas on how to do it, and we will crack it one day.
That is difficult when you provide a service, isn't it, rather than a product?
Yes.
With that analogy.
Yeah. But do you think you're now able to focus on the client side because you've nailed the employer side, or going back to the start, do you wish you did that in conjunction with each other?
I think it's gone the other way. So I think to start with, I was very focused on the clients because I needed the clients kind of come along the journey. So I think to start with, it was very much focus on the clients, and they will come. What's the Kevin Costner film? Build it and they will come. I'm showing my age here. Field of Dreams. Yeah.
Not seen that one. I was
Not
going to
seen
say
it.
Robin Hood.
He basically builds. He loves playing baseball, so he builds a baseball ground, and then those people come and play with him. So anyway.
I'll have to write that one down.
Look at a tumbleweed.
Lost.
Anyway,
I do get that though, because when you're a smaller business, when you're a smaller business, it is all about clients and new business, isn't it? And then once you get the people in that come and enjoy the place of work, then you've got them to be able to do a lot more of that, and then focus on the other stuff, the client satisfaction, the experience, that sort of thing. So it's hard to do it the other way around. Yeah,
so I think I've flipped from focus on the client to then let's get the employee journey nailed, because we've nailed the client, and then now we're going back to the other way. Yeah. So as I need to find the right equilibrium, and whilst I think I've nailed the employee journey, as I said earlier, something will happen and we need to pivot and focus on that.
Be exceptional.
Be exceptional. So the strive to being as good as you can be never ends. It's a cycle. And we had our board meeting yesterday. We had our record year last year and the financial year, absolutely amazing. But a clock resets at 0, and then we're really tough on each other, and really constructive, like how we go again. So that's always kind of like raising the bar, has to continue.
What is the plan then? What are the things you're focusing on? I mean, there's obviously one of them there, but what are the things you're going to focus on sort of now?
Yeah, so we've got a 5-year plan, which was in my head, but I got convinced I had to write it down, which is quite annoying. So we had to write this plan down, and everyone refers back to it. But anyway, the 5-year plan is to reach a £10 million turnover company. We're in year 2 of it. And that's by growing service lines. So at the moment we offer 6 services. We want to grow that to 10 at the moment. And then regionally we want to grow. So we had 2 established businesses, and we've just kind of creeping now into, using the creep word.
Coreus Group.
Coreus Creep's happening. We're actively now pushing London and trying to get into the Midlands a bit more. So kind of that natural spread across the country is how we kind of grow the turnover.
How are you finding that? How are you going into those sort of locations? Because I'm guessing, no relationships like you had down here. It's almost like a completely new business going into those areas.
I've got a couple of clients who we followed into those regions. So clients we've had based down in the southwest in Bristol and Wales, who have kind of projects in those areas. So we're following them. So we have a kind of ready-made business in those areas. Yeah. But then it's about brand awareness. So your marketing strategy has to change and dial up and dial down in those different regions. And you'll naturally spend a lot more time there. So whereas my home isn't Exeter all the time, it's Bristol, Birmingham, London and Chard.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot more time in those areas, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
Sort of thing.
Cutting the grass, whatever he's doing.
What did you do for your 5 years? Because it's been 5 years, isn't it? There was lots of stuff on.
Yeah, so we decided we walk 50 miles, which is
Yeah, that's mental.
Amazing.
yeah, why not?
Like, that is really far.
Yeah, so
Isn't it?
I had this idea a couple of years ago to do a 100-mile walk,
Yeah.
and got talked out of that. So we set up with a 50-mile, and
Halved it.
we started off in Chard at the cave where the first office was.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chard Guildhall, because the cave's probably it's in a cave, so you don't want to be down there.
It's actually, it's actually okay.
So we walked to Seaton, and then all along the coast path, Sidmouth, Budley, Exmouth, and then up the estuary, and we arrived here at 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's mad. I don't know if it's a silly question, but do you have to do much training for that?
Yeah, so
Or is it like
we did
just-
3 or 4 like long training walks. So we did one that was 30 miles. It was pretty brutal. We did that in a yellow weather warning, so that was pretty brutal.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And the way that you went, that's really coastal,
Oh,
isn't
I
it?
mean, Seaton to
Brutal.
Sidmouth is
It's a horrible
you'd
bit,
be
isn't
a
it?
donkey to go on those
Yeah.
paths.
But it was a nice day. Was it a nice day?
It was, and then
Yeah.
about 10 o'clock it started raining. So
Yeah.
no matter how bad life gets, walking from Exmouth to the Blue Ball, we'll never get that bad.
Never get that bad.
Did you stop off anywhere? Some quite nice pubs along the way there, isn't there?
We had a support vehicle,
Yeah.
and the support vehicle was loaded up with beers and ciders, but a few of the guys had them, but I just couldn't. I was just mentally, I was just trying to get to the finish line.
Is it? When did like the wall come for you? When did it hit? Pretty early.
Seaton car park. I was thinking, shit. I've done 17 miles. I've got another. How many was the maths? 33.
Yeah.
Got 33 to go. Yeah, I was struggling then.
And did the whole team get behind it? Did you all do it
Yeah.
together?
There was 18 members of the team did it. We had
good.
2 in the support truck. And then everyone else was kind of like, come supporting, which is really, it's really good.
And how
brutal.
much money did you raise in the end?
It's still going up every day. I look on there and there's more money gone there. So 16.5 grand.
That's
That's- yeah,
amazing.
that's a lot.
So is this for the Coreus Foundation?
That's right. Yeah. So we set up, again, it's been a long-term vision in the business to set up long-term vision of mine to set up a foundation trust. So we committed to donating 1% of our profits to net profits, not gross profits, net profits to, my accountant keeps telling me it's net, not gross. So I don't know the difference between the two. 1% of our net profits to charity every year. We thought a great vehicle to do it would be through the foundation trust, because we've got some trustees on there. I'm one of the trustees, although I'm not the chair of the trustees. And they're people outside the business, and they can nominate where the money goes. And we think that's like a really,
Really?
really good kind of way to give back to local communities we work in.
Where does the money go?
So we've got 3 pillars around. Trying to think. Knowledge.
Is that a
So
gin?
education.
Gin?
Yeah, the gin. is good to me. Education, establishments, and people from disadvantaged backgrounds. Physical and mental health. So that kind of covers charities. So the walk we did was for prostate cancer and for Devon Air Ambulance. And the third one is around environmental initiatives. So it quite aligns to the Coreus service offerings.
Cover a lot of bases there.
Yeah,
don't you? Yeah, that's good. And how much have you donated to charity so far? Do you know the total figure?
In our journey,
Yeah.
it's going to be close to 30 grand, I would say so far. Yeah.
And you
yeah.
just started that from the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So what other charity events have you got coming up?
We've got a charity quiz charity games night. So we did do a quiz. You should come along to it actually, because it's like fastest finger first, catchphrase, family
Really
fortunes.
competitive.
Really competitive.
Really?
Last year was amazing. We had 120 people in the forge, all getting stuck in. We raised 4 grand for charity, I think, on the night.
Brilliant.
So yeah, really good event.
Nice.
And we've got golf day, I think, coming up and other things.
Oh, yeah, do that. Definitely. I think we just going back to our previous conversations, always really interested in this businessy side of things, and I do feel like you may be a bit modest about it, but you have really grown quite an amazing business in 5 years, and I think not many people do that. You've gone really quickly. You've laid some really good foundations. You're now almost at a place where I don't know. Do you feel like you're out of the business? Sort of in comparison, you're not on the shop floor, so to speak,
or
on the tools.
No, so I talk about these phrases I come up with, but I've got a 6-month rule now. So I feel I could walk away now for 6 months and the business would operate, it'd still be here, it'd be profitable, people be looked after.
Which is an amazing place to
it's
be.
An amazing
isn't it?
place to be.
Yeah. And like,
and my challenge to all my senior team is get yourself in that position.
Yeah.
If you can walk away for 6 months, then you know the team below you have not stepped up, because that's the wrong word, but are progressing in their careers and they're growing themselves.
And I feel like that's the sort of analysis, and that's where I'm going. Like, I feel like what you've done really well is you've brought some really like key members into the business. Yeah. You've almost made yourself redundant in a few different key areas to sort of give everything to them. And, they say like Richard Branson's the master delegator, don't they? He knows what he's really good at and knows what he's not good at, but he's just extremely good at getting people in to do that job, move on to the next sort of thing. I feel like you've done that really, really nicely. And I feel like, we were talking a little bit earlier about it. You've had some real key players within the business who have been really influential. Who have those people been, and what have they actually done that have been really influential? What sort of section do they sit on?
Oh gosh, I don't like singling individuals out. I did mention a couple of people before, but
I mean, not so much like the names, but like what their position is and how they've sort of pushed everything forward.
Within Coreus, we've got a group structure, so we've got subsidiary businesses which are regions. So Southwest, we call it Central because it's Central England. Yeah. Southeast and sustainability. So having key people to manage those individual business units has been really important. Getting good quality people into those positions. But my style of person in that area isn't someone who's been there and done it. It's someone who is up and coming and looking to grow in their role. So everybody, including me, I guess, definitely me, we've all learned and grown along the way. So having those key people in those key positions, whether it's a client-facing role or an internal-facing role in marketing, finance. It's really important to get those people who are hungry, and I think that's what we've done really well. Is we've managed to attract and retain those really good people.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think a lot of businesses sometimes think, your way that you guys have done it. You've had yourself, and you've got pretty senior people in different sort of positions. Yeah. A lot of businesses would get, yourself, and then a lot of people to actually. Be on the tools sort of thing. So in your instance, a lot of QSs, a lot of junior QSs, get them in first, easier to track, that sort of thing. But it seems like you've gone the other way. You talked about finance director, got in quite early doors. You've got quite a senior marketing person. You've got quite a few senior leaders who have then sort of grown teams around you from that. Has that been a purposeful strategy?
I was thinking then after I answered that it's not just about getting those key senior people in. I read somewhere that the first 10 people in the business are the most important people, and you look after those people no matter what, because they're the ones who create that culture. And that's absolutely true. When I just think of, I can't name those 10 because we named the first 7 or 8, but after that it gets a bit tricky.
They know who they are.
Yeah, they know who they are. You know who you are. They're the ones who create that culture. They might be on an apprenticeship scheme or a graduate scheme, but they're the ones who've come along on the journey for 5 years and help kind of maintain that fun element. So it's not all about getting key senior people into positions. It's about having a talent pool who are with you on the bus, kind of, pushing on that journey.
And I think it just highlights that everybody has their strengths, doesn't it? It's not just, the key fundamental people are coming in and they're changing big strategic decisions in the business, but also other people that are actually having an impact, like you say, on the culture. That is what motivates everybody else to be their best selves. Yeah. And creating that environment is, I guess, the key.
Yeah, I can think of a couple of people who got into the business because I absolutely wanted them in. I mean, they're crap at their job, but they make the business and the culture what it is. And that is as important as
it's a huge part,
being able to do a risk register or going to a meeting. So, it's a huge part of it. You have to almost kind of have a framework of the person that you want to employ. And there needs to be a cultural fit, and then there needs to be kind of the job fit as well that comes afterwards.
Talking about culture, do you believe that it needs to be regularly assessed and improved and worked on, or is it an authentic, natural growth within a business?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I don't know how to answer that.
What have you done? What's it been like at Coreus?
I don't think I've ever gone, right, this is going to be the culture, everyone's going to kind of come in and not wear a suit. I think it's just organic. It happens, and it happens through the individuals by allowing them to express themselves.
Where does it come from? Does it come from you and then trickles down, or is it the other way around? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
No, I don't think there is. I think there's a bit of both. That there's some of me in the chorus culture, and there's a lot of everybody else in there as well. So it just creates a big kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
I think one thing I'm really interested to know is, we've spoken a lot about what you're good at. What do you feel like you're not very good at with running a business?
Oh, what am I not good at? It's a
Yeah.
bigger list than what I'm good at. Yeah, I'm very good at talking about what I'm not very good at.
We'll see.
Yeah, in terms of, I think I get carried away sometimes with just generally in life, but I get carried away with an idea. So I describe it as like a little puppy running around, really excited, pissing in corners.
Just got that vision in my head.
Just Andy running around inside a corner in a second.
Cocking my leg everywhere. Yeah, I think I fixate sometimes on an idea and think it's going to be game changing. It's absolutely not. So I would say that's kind of one of those things. I probably put fun above work sometimes. So I'll make up something that I know. Try to get Nathan to measure the amount. It sounds ridiculous. I got Nathan the other day to measure the steps at Winslade and work out how many times it would take him to walk up and down to climb Everest, which 852 times, by the way. And then we spent an hour debating how long it would take him, and so I just get distracted really easily. I used to be pretty bad at not letting go. I think I was quite a control freak as well. I think I've got a lot better at that in learning to let go. I probably try and problem solve too much. I try and get involved too much and trying to solve problems for people. And
how do you sort of grow as like an individual? Do you know, like, do you do a lot of self-improvement to sort of overcome those sort of things? Yeah,
I said to her, I'm very self-critical of myself and I always think I could do things better. So, I mean, after this podcast, I'll be driving home, analysing it, thinking, well, could I have done better on there?
Yeah.
To the most part, I try to do those things. I mean, you can't help your personality either, can you? Just get carried away. Well, I get carried away with
do
stuff.
What you do.
Just do what you do. But if you sometimes I've just got to rein it in a little bit.
Do you do like much in terms of like personal growth? Do you listen to a lot of business podcasts? Do you listen to read a lot of business books, that sort of stuff? What do you do?
I struggle with reading, if I'm honest, because I'm like ADHD. So, trying to keep an attention span is quite difficult. Although I did read the Stephen Bartlett Diary of a CEO, which was amazing. Yeah. Loads of great things in that I kind of...
We're big fans of Stevie B, aren't we?
Stevie B.
I'm a big fan of Stevie B. Yeah.
Well, you're like,
my mate Steve.
What sort of podcasts do you listen to then?
Yeah, I mean, I really like little snippets. So some of the TED Talk snippets I really like listening to. And I do struggle to sit down and listen to a 2-hour thing unless it's, up on the road. Audiobooks I'm into.
Any books in particular?
Legacy by James Kerr. Do you know that one?
No.
It's about the All Blacks. So every chapter's something about the All Blacks.
No egos, no dickheads.
Yeah, no dickheads. Yeah. We've got one, Sweep the Sheds. So
nice.
No one's too small for the big. No one's too big for little jobs.
Paint the back of the shed.
Paint the back of the shed.
That's
Stephen
Bartlett.
Yeah.
I suppose what I'm getting at is, I think some people, business, they love it. They live it. It comes very naturally to some people. Others really work very hard on themselves to learn a lot more and be more of a business person. What sort of bracket do you feel like you fit into?
I actually feel, and this is not me being self-praised, I think it comes quite naturally to me, because if I have an idea, I just go for it and try and make it happen.
See what happens.
And it's very difficult when someone goes, well, what do you read or what do you listen to and where do you get your inspiration from? Because I probably get it from all sorts of different places. I don't realise whether it's my family, whether it's playing cricket with people. I really like the psychology of individuals and the colours. Red, yellow, blue, green. What are you guys? Let me guess. Both. I reckon you're both yellows.
Think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if I know what you're on about, actually.
I do know what you're about, but I don't think I know what colour I am.
So introvert, extrovert, whether you deal with things through feeling or you think about them and analyse. And then there's a spectrum.
Well, I'd say I think about things through feelings.
Right.
Maybe Jevon doesn't.
Okay, so you're feeling, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I think I am actually an introvert, but I have a personality that on the exterior I'm an extrovert.
So an introvert deals with things with feelings are green. They very caring, very thoughtful, put others over themselves. That'd be.
I would say.
I feel like
I'd say that's a bit me. Yeah.
Okay. So are you introvert, extrovert?
I don't know, to be honest. I think somebody else needs to say
I think Jevon would probably be a bit of an introvert.
Introvert, okay.
Yeah.
And feeling or you think about analyse?
Oh, very much logic.
Oh, so you're what's called a blue. So cool blue. You're very analytical.
Yeah.
You're very prepared. You're
Yeah.
I think that's definitely
That is Jevon to a T.
No,
So I
So
love.
what are you?
I'm a yellow, so I'm an extreme extrovert. When I did that, I was 98% extrovert.
Wow.
Yeah. But I do find myself sometimes in social situations, I'm a bit like awkward and a bit, until I feel comfortable with people. So I do think there is a bit of introvert there sometimes. And I do get imposter syndrome, which makes that come out a bit more. And then I do things through feeling. Everything is through feeling. So
you just go with
it's
the
called
flow.
sunshine yellow. So energetic. Yeah.
Where's this come from? What's this? Is that from a book, you say?
There is a book about it, but I think it's called Surrounded by Idiots.
Yeah.
Do you do that in the office? You go. Does everybody know their
Yeah, so
colour?
we're doing it we're having a away day and everybody's going through the process at the moment. But the reason I brought that up is that I love the kind of analysing people, and I think that helps me understand what motivates them and get the best out of them.
Profiling almost.
Yeah, profiling. Yeah.
It is interesting. So you do a lot from feel,
Yeah.
but it does sound like you also know a lot of the theory and that side of things as well.
I guess so. I don't know where I picked it up from.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're
random books.
interested in it. That's probably
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
and you don't realise.
I also think as well, it's like Gary Vee. Do you listen to Gary Vee?
No, I don't know.
He's great, Gary
You would
Vaynerchuk.
like Gary Vee,
Yeah, I think
I
you'd
think.
love him. I think you're quite similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary
But like,
V. Is his surname like Vernon or something?
Vaynerchuk. Gary Vernon. That's the name. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
He's like a big like media mogul. He's quite big socials and stuff. But like,
So it's embarrassing that I don't know who he is.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. He's great. You'll love him. But like, he's 100 miles an hour. He's constantly works really hard,
Yeah.
big on socials, blah, blah, blah. But he says like, he doesn't do it for any other reason because he just loves it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're slotting into that category quite nicely.
I would describe it like that as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely love coming to work. I'd do it for free if I didn't have a mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
Or do you know what's more expensive than a mortgage? A dog. I
Yeah.
love my dog.
Vet bills.
Yeah. Vet bills, I mean, he'll fake being ill, so you've got to take him down there.
That's class.
Yeah, and then food. And,
What dog you got?
A Sprogger Spaniel, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mental
do you
then.
want one of
Yeah.
I
them?
want a cocker.
A
Do you?
cocker.
Yeah.
But just not quite there yet. For
Yeah.
really. Is he mental?
Oh, crazy. Yeah.
there you go.
He's not allowed in the office.
Is he not? I was going to ask that.
So like moving on to maybe your marketing strategy, this sort of stuff. I know you said you enjoy that side of things and you have got a bit of a division and it looks like it's growing. You obviously do some really good things on social media. We've spoken a little bit about it. Is there much of a strategy or are there sort of any aims for that in particular?
Apparently there's a strategy, yeah. So, no, this is the bit I'm really interested to talk about because I describe myself as a marketing enthusiast, but I love seeing what other people do. And I mean, I love your brand, by the way, and I know your website doesn't work at the moment.
Yes, that's another thing.
We'll edit that bit out.
We got a new one coming, all right? It's coming. We've forgotten about that
I
one.
love looking at people's brands and how they promote themselves in the market. And I think, that's really good what they're doing. We do have a strategy. It changes every year and changes every week, as I said before, that you've got to pivot around what's kind of new. To start with, it was about brand awareness, getting ourselves out there. And you've got to start with why you're doing it. Why are we kind of putting ourselves out there? And
that's a great point, isn't it? Because I think so many people jump into it just thinking, we'll do a bit of marketing.
Yeah.
So start with, it was about, so what do we want to do? We want to speak to clients and speak to prospective employers, as well as getting some kind of general noise out there. So we have to kind of think, who are two kind of target markets? And there's various different ways in terms of which we would, undertake marketing. Some, firstly, digital. The next part would be through more traditional means, through what would traditionally be called campaigns, which is like tenders and proposals and capability statements. And the third one is through face-to-face, the brand that I know are individual personal brands that people are putting out there. So we have a strategy around each of those and what we want people to do more or less of, how we want people to talk about the business. And it's all about making our product come to life, and our product is our people. So we've worked very, very hard in terms of trying to be a bit more innovative than other companies out there, loads of video content. So that on our social media that you can see that we're trying to drip in there that we were this kind of young, exciting company to work for. How cool is it? And these are the people. But now it's going to a different phase. We need to be more, you can trust us. We're brilliant at what we do. We employ the best people, that sort of thing.
Is it
so it's
moved on
always
to the
changing.
next phase because you feel like you've taken the box on the next previous?
Yeah, and I've got lots of, we do like what we call a marketing mind sailing session every quarter, which is just in a room, 5 of us, just throw a load of ideas. So
where do you market the business? Is it all like LinkedIn or?
Yeah, so different channels. So LinkedIn, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. So Twitter's more just about, X is more about the brand awareness, just dropping out there. We don't get great engagement. Instagram is more the fun side of things, what it's like to work at Coreus and the business. And then LinkedIn's our professional platform where our clients are on, or the majority of our clients are on. Although we are followed on Instagram by majority of our clients as well. So
that's good.
That's a good thing though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Are you on TikTok?
We are on TikTok, yeah.
How do you feel about TikTok?
I mean, I love it. I think it's brilliant.
I can imagine you get right involved in
TikTok.
TikTok.
I love it. I mean, my wife sits there scrolling and sending stuff through, but I wanted to create a viral video a couple of years ago, and all I could think of was like the Jackass thing, like someone will be sat at their desk and will shave the back of their head. I don't know how funny it would be, but that's obviously workplace bullying. So, so the idea is just to be different.
I do feel like the built environment and a lot of these businesses are a little bit behind with all that. So there's such an opportunity for businesses like you guys to, we say disrupt, it's not really that much of a disruption because it's a positive disruption. I think disruption comes with negative connotations, but make a bit of a move into that side of things.
Even if some of the companies that work in our sector in the Southwest just had a standard format where the brand, if you went onto their brand grid and everything looked on brand, that's just a start. That's just one thing that somebody could do, let alone all the content you can put behind it. And I see some new businesses that have started up over the last couple of years, and some have gone down the route of trying to be on brand, which I think is brilliant. I've messaged those guys because I know them, and I'm like, it's really good. More of that because that's what it needs. And other people who just do the really boring crap posts that no one cares about, doesn't mean anything to anybody. You want to shake them.
Look at my training event.
Yeah. I say that, but go back to some of the first Instagram posts on the Chorus page that I was doing, and
all that.
I posted a picture of a robin, and like I was like, it's national.
Guys, a very Christmas thing.
It's National Dawn Chorus Day. and like what is that about? So
we love robins.
We could keep it on there because it just kind of brings you back down to earth.
Yeah, grounds you a bit.
Lols,
It sounds like you're really invested in marketing. Do you feel like there was a pivotal point where you were like, gosh, the marketing has really taken things to the next level?
Yeah, I think it has. Yeah. So during COVID, so June 2020, I decided that I was going to go on this rampage and employ loads of people, and just more people the better, because it'd be really fun to get loads of people in. And I've created this role of Director of Enabling Services. Helen joined, she was Director of Marketing at Flybe, and she made the brand what it is today, and we continually evolved that. And I think it was, when we started putting some of the documentation out that we have, that really, I understood the benefit of it, both internal and external, because half of what you see marketing-wise is external, but there's another half that's internal marketing, comms and intranets and, company handbooks that you don't see, which is just as important to keep people engaged.
I think just to jump in, like an example, our journey with like marketing is, Maddi, you joined mid last year, we had pretty clear goals to attract people to the business. Like that was our goal, that was our intention. And like, we've done that, but last year, we put numerous adverts out for people to join us, didn't really get many people approach us. The first half of this year, with all of our marketing efforts, we've had people approach us, 3, 4, 5, 6 more people approach us about our brand. So that's where we've ticked like a huge box, isn't it? And that's where it's helped us so much. And we've gone out with that intention.
But you've got a cool brand, and you should shout about it.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that millennial, Gen Z, Gen X. That's kind of what
they need to know it, don't they?
I think that's what they want. They want that cool, funky brand. They don't want stale, boring. No. Some people probably do, but they don't want the stale, boring stuff. But I guess it depends on the business or what you're trying to market. And
I always think that Gen Z, Gen X, their childhood has been brought up on social media. So that's the first place that they're going to go to research any company, any product, any service. So if you're not shouting about it on the digital platforms that you need to be, where everybody is that are going to be the future leaders of your business, then you're missing a massive trick. That's exactly what you need to be.
And if you compare yourself to your competitors, which, so I don't really like the term competitors. What's another term for them?
Neighbours.
Yeah, neighbours.
Market neighbours.
Well, good. Did you watch Neighbours when you were younger? I loved it. Harold. I think those people who other people who work in your sector, if you compare yourself to them, which we do loads of, and we go, well, how are they doing things? Because if a candidate comes down from Bristol, from London, and says, right, I've got 3 interviews in Exeter, and I've got one with Coreus, and I've got one with so and so and so and so, and they compare everything. They look at our office where we work, and they look at our website, and they look at our Instagram and what we would like to work at compared to the other two. It's a win-win. The business is sold to them. So
you paint a much better and clearer picture and bigger picture of what your business is like to work for.
Yeah.
So they've got so much more confidence to buy into your business and brand before they've even got to the interview.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about your employer branding, isn't it? You guys big on that? Is that a big part of your strategy?
Employer branding in terms of?
The promotion of your business itself. So how you attract employees to come to your business.
Directed towards potential hires rather than your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just dripping in there, those things that we do, whether it's the 5-year party, whether it's nights out, whether it's awards, whether it's training programs. It's just dripping out there what a great place it is to work. But also, as I've come back to it before, having the best benefits and working on really exciting projects because they want the whole package, I guess.
And I think the best bit about employer branding and the marketing side is you don't actually have to create anything, because all you're doing is picking up a camera and videoing what's actually going on around you, and it's the truth. Yeah. So it's the easiest form of marketing out there,
exactly.
Isn't it? How about your personal branding? What do you guys do on that?
So I think some people are better at it than others. We actively encourage all of our team to be getting out there, going to networking events, sitting on industry boards or volunteering boards. So we've got people who are doing really good stuff. They probably don't shout about it as much as they maybe should do. Some are really good at shouting about it, others aren't. It's about finding that right kind of right blend of that. But you come back to what do some of our people do? They're professional consultants that people want to feel safe from. So me now being out there speaking as I am to you today probably wouldn't have been right 10 years ago, because
it's changed so much.
Because I had to be the safe pair of hands, that
suit and tie,
I knew my onions, that sort of thing. And people in our business still have to be that person. So I'm very lucky I can be who I want to be, and that's, I'm either loved or hated for it, I don't really care. But that other people have to kind of toe a particular line. So we do sit down with them, and we try and kind of say, when your personal brand is this, and if you want to be highlighting things on socials, maybe you could do more of this or less of that. But it's really important for everybody to understand that your personal brand is what's going to get you further in your career.
How has it got you further in yours? How's your personal brand evolved?
It's probably damaged me at times. No, I'm being honest. Yeah, I'm being blunt. I have done things that I would regret and probably would never do again. Whether that was on projects where I'd be a bit bullish and take contractors on, or whether it's getting a bit excited at networking events, whatever it might be. I've probably damaged it.
Too many Coreus gins.
Yeah. Well, you can never have enough Coreus gins. But, So. Yeah, that sounds really shit, doesn't it? But I think what I tried to do from the very start is make friends, and a lot of the clients that we work with and still work with to this day are friends of mine. But also, consultants that we work with as well. It's really important you build up those relationships with them. So you've got people who are raving fans about you, and they're going around telling people about you and about your business, because that's really, fundamentally recommendations are, cornerstone of success.
How do you want Coreus to be perceived?
I like Coreus to be perceived as somewhere that is a safe environment for people to come and work and express themselves. comes back to the place that people want to work for and with. I really like the idea that individuals can come here and express themselves, which they are doing. And I really like the fact that clients are following us on that journey. So if we can be seen as a young, disruptive company, positively disruptive company, then for me, we're winning.
And how do you want to be perceived?
How do I want to be perceived?
Or how do you, well, there's two questions there, isn't there? How do you think you're perceived? How do you want to be perceived?
I think I'm perceived as somebody who's probably just gone for it. And, I've taken risks and, built this great kind of company, but it doesn't feel like that on the inside, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't very step back and go, wow, look at everything I've got, because I'm just kind of always kind of trying to achieve what's next. When I wrote the first business plan, I wrote to build a legacy. And I think if I'm remembered, I'm only 37, so hopefully I've got a few years left in me yet, but if I'm remembered for anything, hopefully it's building a legacy, whether that's positive or whatever in the marketplace. Is
that important to you, your legacy?
Not my legacy personally. I think building something that has a long-standing impact in the market is really important to me, that people can benefit from. I don't think people often think about that.
They don't reflect about that.
Don't reflect about that.
I mean, you've just mentioned then you don't do enough reflecting. Do you feel like you do sit back and look back and think?
I'm very good at being critical. Like, I was able to list off things I'm really bad at. I'm able to, I'm almost focused on the negatives more than the positives.
Are you hard on yourself?
Very hard. Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
No, I don't think it is, because I beat myself up. Whether it's, I think working life has changed for me over the years, in that, I was conditioned to be working, getting up at 7, 8 sometimes, working a 9-to-5 job, and you get conditioned into that kind of hamster wheel. And, sometimes now my role is, I have to make decisions and I have to think, and I come into work for 8 o'clock and I stay here till 5:30, and I'm actually sat there sometimes with nothing to do, because, and I just sit there because I think I should be in work. And if I'm not there, I feel bad about it. So I think everybody, I don't know whether you guys are, but I think everybody can be too hard on themselves from time to time, rather than just thinking, what is it that is the bigger picture thing that I need to achieve?
Do you think that is a trait that you need, though, to be exceptional? Like, if you're not pulling yourself up on things, how are you gonna reach that exceptional point that you want to be at?
Yeah, I think everybody finds their own way, don't they? Like, everyone finds their own style, and all those successful people in life, we talked about the personality traits previously. Throughout history, everybody has there's no right or wrong. So if you are too hard on yourself, or if you're not too hard on yourself, I don't think there's either right or wrong in terms of trying to achieve those goals, because everybody finds their own way.
Yeah. How's the way in which you work changed, from the start to finish? You do a lot longer hours now? Are you a little bit more efficient with what you do? Or?
I hate the premise that people have to work hard and work long hours to get maximum impact out, and people who sit there and go, I work all hours under the sun to be successful. That's just bollocks.
Were you like that at the start?
Some days you can be, but some days you just, you have what I call a CBA day. You can't be asked.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to introduce as a benefit, by the way. Imagine, who can be asked to turn up to work every single day?
That is interesting, isn't it?
No one can. And I did a poll on our WhatsApp group and was like, can you be asked to turn up to work every day? And of course, we'll do 4 goody 2-shoes went, yes, every day.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm like, let's just lie. No one can be asked to turn up to work every day. So why don't we introduce 2 CBA days? So you bring it up, Andrew, I'm really can't be asked today. No worries, you've got 1 day left. How good would that be? Because, that's the way the world works.
That's a pretty cool benefit.
That is.
So anyone who sits in a seat and tells you, I work hard every day and I work 14 hours a day, it's just a lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, those 14 hours probably aren't productive.
No, I love that. That is so interesting, isn't it? Why haven't you done it?
Why haven't I done it? I think I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it now.
Inspired
this
me.
is a clip
We've
that we'll
clipped
do.
this up.
You've inspired me. Yeah. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Do you have any other little benefits like that, which are a little bit different?
We offer unlimited holidays, so people can take as much holiday as they want.
How does that work out?
People can take as much holiday as they want.
But how does it work out? Do they take more, or do they usually take less?
Everyone's conditioned to taking 25, 30 days holiday a year, so they plan their holiday throughout the year and average out about that. So we do track it just for data, and make sure that some people aren't taking months and months off, because obviously that would be detriment to the business. But I think it's really, I used to get, I don't know whether you find it, I don't know what your holiday allowance is.
We have 30 days in total, and then 5's off at Christmas.
Yeah,
and to be honest,
really
I struggle to fill it.
That's really good. Yeah, really good. That's like way above industry average.
Yeah.
But does it run January to December?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find people get to December and go, oh, I've got to take 2 weeks off because I've got it left or I'll lose it? Well, that kind of unlimited holiday gets rid of that, because then people are taking it as and when they need it, rather than just saying, oh, I've got 2 weeks to take, so I'm going to take a big 2 weeks off and impact the business. You can plan for holiday when it's put in the diary properly. So yeah, we do that. I was rambling again.
Well, what sort of data do you get from that? Do you feel like people take off more or less? Because I suppose it's really difficult, because it's like catch-22. You only hire the people that you know aren't going to take the piss with that sort of stuff. But then you never know if people are going to take the piss or not, and different circumstances, different situations. How have you found that go?
I think for me, it's always a bit of a joke about some people, you never hear you're on holiday. But for me, I think it's important that people have the have the responsibility to manage it with themselves. And if someone does take 40 days holiday, so what? If someone does take 15 days holiday, so what? As long as the job's getting done and people are doing a good job and they feel happy doing it, then that's the most important thing.
Have you always had that benefit?
We introduced it about 6 months in. So Livy, who's one of our superstars, she's one of our superstars, being with us at the start. I came one day, I was like, right, Livy, you're gonna have unlimited holiday and we're gonna trial you. And she was like, okay.
I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah, so I think people didn't really think we make it happen, but we have. But then I want to do things like finish at 1 o'clock on a Friday, but then you've got unlimited holiday, so
we do that.
Yeah, do you?
That's the thing. Yeah, it's difficult to manage that as well.
Yeah,
because then you end up giving an awful lot away. But if people are putting more effort into the time that they're doing, then it's worth doing, isn't it? That's the thing. It's difficult. You want people to be more efficient at their jobs and have more time outside.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we other quirky things we do. Anyone in the business can give someone else a bonus up to a certain value. So like what's called peer-to-peer recognition. But I couldn't go, Maddi, if you nominate me, I'll nominate you.
Yeah. But that bribery coming back again.
Circular economy. Yeah, so we don't have that. What other things do we do? Charity giving. So anyone in business can say, I want to give £100 to that charity. And we're always looking for new ways and quirky things that we can introduce. So I'd mentioned that we got into the Sunday Times best place to work list. That partly was because of our employee benefits, but got the booklet on Sunday. I was reading through and nicking some ideas. And then one company's got spirited karaoke gatherings. Now that sounds a bit weird to me.
No, that sounds unbelievable.
Oh, you'd like that?
I'd love
that. Nobody else in the office probably would.
Yeah, just be me singing to everyone else.
Well, how do you put that into I don't know. Anyway, so there's some really good ones and some ones will leave there.
It's all about your culture then, isn't it, really? It just sounds like you put a huge emphasis on keeping people happy within the business.
Absolutely.
And like you said, we've spoken about it almost. It feels like everything relates to it. 10 years ago, we couldn't be sitting here without wearing suits and ties sort of thing. It was very different. Post-COVID, the lockdowns, everybody put such an emphasis back onto work-life balance. It's gone so extreme now that work is it's a big part of people's lives.
Yeah.
They want to have a good time while they're doing it rather than just come into work to
absolutely.
get things done. So you can make work more enjoyable and not seem like work. Like yourself, you obviously love what you do and you love it.
Yeah.
You're going to get so much more out of them, aren't you, in the long run and the short term?
No, absolutely. I mean, part of COVID, we went into people's homes, didn't we? We were like, seeing their cats and dogs and, I don't know what, some people holding a baby while they're doing a call and, what really shit background they had or what really pretentious background they had, so it became like a competition in the end, didn't it?
So I listened to a few podcasts and what some people say, business owners say is, I've heard it a few times, people set up businesses and they create environments which are more suited and specific to people that are senior. And they would create a business environment to what they would want, which is a great thing. But maybe when they bring on more junior people, they've got all this flexibility, all this autonomous. They don't actually give them a bit of a pathway and a plan to actually be as successful as possible as they can, because they haven't got all these experience to know how to be autonomous, to know what to do, to know what sort of KPIs to hit, that sort of thing. Have you experienced that at all?
That's really good analysis. But what we I mean, one thing we try to champion is like talent. We call them talent pathways. So we have 3 talent pathways to make sure that people continually learn and grow. And I mentioned before, we're the particular type of people we like to employ. It's about those who haven't quite reached that exceptional level yet, and they want to kind of move on. So I don't think we'll ever lose sight of that, if I'm honest.
But is it because you've got really good, fairly rigid structures and processes in place to be able to get them to a point where they can be autonomous, they can be senior, they can do what they need to know?
Our company looks really shiny from the outside, and all these things are catching up. So, we had a appraisal form that we borrowed from a previous company. Not me. So we've borrowed a lot of stuff from previous, and we're now like installing our own and making it Coreus, because we're not, we don't want to be a copycat of someone else.
But there's so much transferability with all these sort of things, isn't it? There's so many good models out there, so many different examples. You got to put it into your own.
You take inspiration from everything, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I was very much at the start, we will not do a timesheet. Like, no one's going to do a timesheet. I don't want to see a timesheet. I hated doing timesheets. I was marked on whether I'd got my timesheet done. I was marked on whether my team got their timesheet done. So we're not doing timesheets. And what are we doing now?
Timesheet.
We're doing fucking timesheets. And
that's exactly what I kind of sort of explained though.
Yeah.
Like that, because something you set it all, you set up a business and you think, oh, these are exactly what I want. But maybe then understand a lot of the processes that were previously in place in order to promote these sort of actions. So like, why have you brought back in timesheets?
Why have we brought back? Good question. It was, to start with, it was to get data. So it was to get data on how many hours people were spending on a job, so that when we're doing fee proposals or whatever it might be in the future, we have a good level of understanding. Then it got into timesheet police. Have you done your timesheet on a Friday? Yes or no? And now it's got into analysing what people are doing on a weekly basis. So like, I've had to kind of just go, hang on a minute, like, let's just go back to what we said we were going to do at the start. We'll have a timesheet system, but only for data.
For this reason,
we're not going to beat people over the head with a stick. I was about to say something different.
Oh, bloody hope not.
We're not going to do that. And you've got to constantly remind yourself, I think, that not falling into, I mean, particularly as a business leader, why you started a business and why you've been successful is because you've been different. If you fall into that copycat mode of being another business, you just become another.
Same as. So what would you do different then? What top 3 things why people should come and join Coreus?
Why people should come and join Coreus? Number one, we have a lot of fun. So we've got our own gin.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with that.
We've had some
That's
great.
for sure.
We have a lot of fun. So I think people are able to, as I said before, express themselves. Number 2, we're genuinely on the cusp of greatness, I think. But I said that on Friday because we're on the cusp of it. We'll never get there because we're continually trying to be exceptional.
Love that.
So if you want to be great but not actually achieve it, come and join us.
Yeah.
And the third thing is, I think we've built I'm going to call it a cult. So like a Lego have built a cult. People, love using and playing with Lego. I think people love, particularly some of the staff we've got, have kind of created that cult within the business, and that is quite powerful.
But it's not a clique.
It's not a clique.
No,
absolutely not. But you're going to have individuals who gravitate towards others more, and you just need to try and ensure it doesn't become that.
Yeah.
Cool. Big part of the podcast then is understanding success. Lots of different definitions from different people. So I'm going to pass you on to Maddi.
What is your definition of success, Andy?
Success to me is about being happy. If I'm happy, I feel successful. And that goes across all my walks of life, whether it's personal or business. If I can walk into that door in the morning and I'm happy, I feel like I've achieved something.
So do you feel successful?
I didn't, but I think today you've helped me reflect on a lot. And the journey we've been on, I'm very privileged, and I'm quite humbled the fact of what we have in the business.
What makes you happy?
Other than G&T, I love being part of a team, I think is the number one thing, and I love being around people. So being an extreme extrovert, being around people and feeding off their energy, that makes me happy.
And outside of work?
Outside of work. So was that the question?
No.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I missed the question. Outside of work, what do? I play cricket, as I said before, to a pretty rubbish level. I am a kind of family man, so I spend a lot of time with my wife, my dog, and my rest of my family. Lots of friends, like having a pint. But I think like work's become intertwined in my personal life as well. So you can't escape the two, really. When I think back to all the things I've done in the last year, most of them have involved work. So, yeah.
What's been the best memory from Coreus in the last 5 years?
Best memory from Coreus. I'll give you three, right? And I mean, they've actually all become I'll give you three. One was when the first tender that we won with a college. It was quite a small job, but when we won that, I knew that we were onto something. So I can remember celebrating pretty well with you, and at that time, and that was when I knew that we were onto something going to be successful. I mean, there's been dips along the way, of course. And the second one would be we won a national framework. That's when I knew nationally, wow, we got a properly established brand. And the third one, we had a really great piss up in London. Took all the team up there and had a great night out. So
that's a pretty good one.
That's created some memories, which I can't mention on camera. But
when did you start feeling, successful or happy?
When did I start? I was happy from the very start, to be honest. I was happy from the very start because it was exciting, and it still is exciting. Every day is different, and I haven't ever lost that excitement for the business, and I don't think I'm sure I will at some point, but I don't. I feel like at the moment I'm still invested. So I felt successful, I guess. Every day because I've been happy.
I was expecting that answer actually, because you say you love the process, you love the journey, you love work.
Yeah.
That starts from day one, doesn't it? It's a process you'll always enjoy if you always enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether it's doing this or getting Hoover out.
Big smile on your face.
Big smile on my face. Yeah. Not all the time, but
So let's finish up then. What can we expect from Coreus and maybe your other businesses in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah, more of the same really. So growing into more regions, growing service lines, continue to positively disrupt. I think we're going to focus a lot more on the giving back. So the foundation trust, as I mentioned, that we got set up, that will be a huge part of my focus over the next few years. And who knows, Coreus America on the cards. Yeah.
USA, baby.
USA. No, I don't know.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for coming on the pod.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for having me. Thank you.
Done.